Stop trying to fix your overthinking for a second, because what I am about to tell you might change how you see it completely. Your overthinking is not your real problem, it is actually a skill that has been misused. And once you understand this, your conversations will start to feel very different. If you overthink every conversation, this is for you. Not just thinking, but replaying every word, every tone, every reaction again and again in your head, wondering if you said something wrong, if you sounded awkward, if they misunderstood you. And even hours later, it is still running in your mind like it just happened. And the worst part is, you already know it is not helping, but you still cannot stop. And that is what makes it frustrating. But here's what most people never realize. Your brain is not doing this randomly. It is doing it because it has learned that conversations are risky. Somewhere in your past, maybe you were judged. Maybe you said something and regretted it. Maybe someone reacted in a way that made you feel uncomfortable, and your brain stored that moment as something to avoid in the future. So now every time you talk, your mind goes into analysis mode, trying to figure out what could go wrong before it happens again. It scans your words, your tone, your expressions, and even the other person's reactions, trying to decode everything. At first it feels like awareness, but slowly it turns into control. You begin monitoring yourself while speaking, choosing words carefully, filtering thoughts, adjusting your tone, trying to predict reactions. And in that process, you stop being natural. You stop being present. And conversations start feeling heavy instead of effortless. And that is where the real problem begins. Because overthinking does not improve your communication. It slowly damages it. Real connection does not come from perfect words. It comes from real presence. And when you are inside your head, you are not present. You are performing. And people can feel that difference, even if they cannot explain it. There is a slight hesitation, a lack of flow, something that feels a little off. And when that happens, your brain takes it as proof that something went wrong. So the cycle continues. You analyze more, you control more, you disconnect more, and you feel worse. And the next time you enter a conversation, you carry all of that with you like invisible pressure, and that pressure makes you second-guess even simple things like how long to pause, what words to use, when to respond, and how you are being perceived. Over time, this pressure builds into something bigger. It starts affecting not just how you speak, but how you feel about yourself. You begin to lose confidence in your own voice, you hesitate more, you speak less, and sometimes you even avoid conversations altogether just to escape that mental loop. Now here is something that can shift your entire perspective. Most people are not analyzing you the way you are analyzing yourself. They are not replaying your sentences. They are not thinking about that one word you used or how you paused, because they are too busy thinking about themselves. Just like you are stuck in your own head, they are stuck in theirs. Everyone is focused on how they came across, not how you did. But because your attention is turned inward, it feels like all eyes are on you. It feels like everything you say is being judged and remembered. But in reality, most conversations are forgotten quickly. What stays is not your exact words, but the overall feeling of the interaction. And that changes everything. Because instead of trying to say the perfect thing, you can focus on being present. When you are present, you listen better. You respond naturally. And your energy becomes more relaxed and real. That is what people connect with, not perfectly constructed sentences. Now let's talk about why your brain keeps doing this. Overthinking usually comes from fear of being judged and a habit of self-criticism. Somewhere in your life you learned that how you speak matters a lot. Maybe you were corrected often, maybe you were judged, or maybe you felt misunderstood. So your brain adapted. It became more careful, more analytical, more aware. But that awareness slowly turned into overanalysis. Your mind started trying to predict and control outcomes so you would not feel that discomfort again. But the truth is you cannot control how every conversation goes, and trying to do that only creates more anxiety, because conversations are unpredictable by nature, and no amount of thinking can guarantee a perfect outcome. Your brain starts filling gaps with assumptions. A short reply feels like disinterest. A delayed response feels like rejection. A neutral expression feels negative. And most of the time, these assumptions are not even true. They are just your brain trying to create certainty in situations where certainty does not exist. So how do you break this pattern? You do not fight your thoughts, because fighting them gives them more power. Instead, you change your response to them. The next time you catch yourself replaying a conversation, do not try to shut it down. Just notice it. Recognize that your brain is trying to protect you, not hurt you. And once you see it that way, it loses intensity. Because now it is not truth, it is just a pattern. And patterns can be changed. Remind yourself of something simple. Not every thought needs a reaction. Just because your mind says you said something wrong does not mean it is true. It is just one possible interpretation, not reality. Another shift that will change everything is this: stop trying to sound perfect and start allowing yourself to be real. You're allowed to be slightly awkward sometimes. You're allowed to pause. You're allowed to not always have the perfect response. That is what makes you human. And most people actually feel more comfortable around someone who is real, not someone who sounds rehearsed. When you accept that you do not need to be perfect, you remove the pressure that causes overthinking in the first place. And once that pressure is gone, conversations start to feel lighter. You stop carrying them long after they end. You stop replaying them in your head. And you start being present instead of living inside your thoughts. And here is the most important part. Your overthinking is not something you need to destroy. It is something you need to guide. Because the same mind that overanalyzes conversations also has the ability to understand people deeply, to notice details others miss, to read situations clearly, and to think in ways most people cannot. The goal is not to lose that ability. The goal is to stop letting it control you. Your mind is powerful, but right now, it is working against you instead of for you. And once you learn how to shift that, everything changes. You speak, you move on, you stay present, and that is real freedom. Not controlling every word, but finally being able to let go.